Exodus's marketing has been a bit confusing lately, but today I got my Exodus encyclopedia, and with it, we got a companion reveal, which is weird. This is a weird way to reveal it, since it's pretty easy to connect the dots based on the images on the website. But here we have our new companion. This is a Deva celestial, and you can see that their silhouette matches the exact one on the companion lineup. So unless something changes between now and the release, we're officially getting a celestial companion, a Deva companion, and his name is Emrys. There's a little blurb about him that says, ageless, enigmatic, and claiming allegiance to the Elohim, a wanderer marked by countless regrets. He moves through the universe as a reclusive musician. Emrys takes on the role of a patient mentor, guiding his select companions with a rare attentive fondness. So he's a patient mentor and musician, quite the opposite to the harsh celestials we've seen so far in the trailers. He's also a Deva, which are a celestial with a very complicated past with the Elohim. So what do we actually know about the Deva celestials? They are considered the wandering minstrels of the celestial races. Rare and usually found alone, they can be found throughout the cluster, and they mostly live amongst others, changelings, other celestials, and even humans. With their lives being extremely long, they usually stay for a while and move on, but only after they've learned everything that they intended. They share their knowledge, but only to those they deem worthy enough, or those who have earned it in some kind of way. They are wise in the ways of other celestial cultures and can be invaluable guides and advisors for those who must brave the customs and hazards of such diplomacy. But while they can be mentors, sometimes they simply choose not to be. Their wisdom and knowledge can be helpful to those they share it with, but only when they deem it so. They teach through asking questions and listen more than they speak. Sometimes, in rare occasions, they do decide to meddle in events, which can sometimes affect whole worlds. On the opposite of this, they can also focus on singular individuals or families to influence instead. Every Deva is different, and so is their anatomy. Their anatomy is even more fascinating than their ideology. Their minds aren't a unified whole, and instead, their cognition is compartmentalized and lacks a single focus. Instead, they have multi-chimeral brains, linked but semi-independent centers of thought, all existing at semi-conscious level. Their personality is essentially a product of the demands of these separate loci, from 3 to as many as 8, depending on which mental nodes are engaged with the active personality. I took that directly from the encyclopedia because it's confusing as shit, but basically their brains are a bunch of different sections that alternate between being active at all times. What each Deva individually knows varies depending on which mental nodes are engaged with the active personality. But a Deva can never consciously explain why they do or say a thing because of this. They are enigmatic even to themselves. While we don't understand this, to the Deva, they see their ability to think like this as a broader ability to engage with all the different kinds of knowledge that they encounter. And aside from their very confusing and interesting minds, they are tall, horned, and asexual. How they produce isn't exactly known, but it's possible that they upload from body to body over generations, though this is just speculation. Their actual lifespan isn't known, but Deva have been known to be around for centuries, maybe even a millennia. Their appearances are also unique to the individual Deva. They can have different skin colors or horn shapes, and some don't even have horns at all. And while their body isn't built for physical strength, they have full control over every part of their body, able to purge toxins directly, ignore pain if they choose to, and even repair their own damage. As far as Deva history, while they became wandering minstrels, some clues of their past suggest that they were not always this way. Some even warn that the Deva have the potential to be something far more problematic in the future, based on these clues. Ancient ruins and some celestial cultures show that it may have been modern-day Deva who were involved with the remnant wars. This culture would have been warlike and tyrannical, and essentially exterminated other celestials, to the point that they may have grown enough to challenge the Elohim for mastery of the entire cluster. This would have resulted in a major conflict in the remnant era. But that culture of what may have been Deva, is long gone. It was obliterated, and every trace of it has since been removed and destroyed. If this is true, that means that the Deva that we know now are the remnants of this powerful threat and once violent civilization. How the Deva have survived despite all traces of their past civilization being eradicated is unknown, but it's speculated that an arrangement with the Elohim was reached that allowed a tiny fracture of the Deva to survive. Other scholars speculate that this was punishment by the Elohim, that their culture was erased, and that those who remained had no memory of their past culture, for warring against the Elohim. When the Deva are confronted about these connections, they simply don't acknowledge them, and it doesn't necessarily seem intentional. Scholars see a deliberate evasion to the question to maybe cover something up, but some also believe that the Deva's unique and fragmented mind may also mean that they have some kind of hereditary mental block that prevents them from interacting with their past. There's a lot unknown about the Devas, about their past, how their minds work, and what they're truly after. And maybe only other Deva know. When Devas meet, they have a lengthy and ritualistic greeting, which often includes various local customs and locations. But that's kind of it. They interact a little bit and then move on, seemingly uninterested in more of their own kind. But underneath this nonchalant greeting is something more. These meetings have been secretly investigated, and from this they've discovered that under the brief interactions is some kind of electromagnetic traffic. Decontamination sensors detect an interchange of nanobot-sized particles between the Deva. So while we may only see their surface interactions, maybe this is truly how they communicate. But like everything else about them, it remains a mystery. But some believe that the last act of the ancient Deva was to infect their own species with an artificial virus to specifically target knowledge, believed to be an attempt to appease the Elohim in their presumed agreement. The end of their warring with the Elohim resulted of their culture and past and identity being erased. Whatever the truth is, the Deva themselves don't seem to know either. What remains of them are the lone travelers, wandering the galaxy in search of knowledge of other cultures, which sometimes they choose to insert themselves into. Some Deva have even become renowned for their travels. They continue to gather knowledge that they seemingly share with other Devas in their secret ways, and mentor and influence when they see fit. So while they've become a harmless race, there might be a dark history behind them, and maybe in front of them. Are they using this knowledge to reconstruct what they once were? Are they trying to unlock what the Elohim hid away? Are they trying to awaken that part of their past? Or are they truly just the wandering minstrels they appear to be? I'll cover more about the Celestials, famous Deva, and everything from Exodus the closer that we get to the actual game, since most people aren't interested in lore of a game they've never played, which I totally understand. But for now, this is what we know about our new companion, Emrys. And I hope that they'll actually show him in an official capacity, and maybe more of the game, which I hope is still coming out next year. Their marketing has been a little bit all over the place, and now a companion has been revealed in the encyclopedia. I don't think it was intentional, but of course we'd connect the dots between the silhouette and the image, since it's the exact same one. And honestly, most people aren't paying super close attention like people like me are, so this will most likely go unnoticed by majority of the fans. So I don't really blame them or anything, but with the little blurb, the name, the mention of companions, and the exact same silhouette, it's very clear this is a companion tease. So they just need to show us a companion trailer like they did with Elise, which was revealed back in April of 2024. It's been so long since we've seen a new companion. I hope we get a trailer of Emrys soon. But let me know what you think. Are you excited to meet a celestial companion? Are you hoping that he's romanceable? And what do you think about the Deva's past with the Elohim? I also just realized at the end of editing everything that I was saying the Elohim the entire time when it's supposedly, I think, Elohim? The Elohim? I'm not sure. But I know someone in the comments is going to correct me, which is okay. Go ahead and correct me. I want to get it right. But I realize at the end of this that I've been getting it wrong. Sorry. Anyways, let me know all your thoughts below, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my channel members. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. Thank you all so much for your support, and I'll see you next time.